So one of my favourite things to treat in my physiotherapy clinic is sciatica with people who are over 60. So why is that? Well, because it's so easy. Here's why. So age makes a difference because of what happens to our discs and the structures around it. Very quickly, under 40s tend to have good level of disc health. And that means that they have a high water content in their disc. Conversely, as we get into the over 60s category, we get a reduction in water content. Now, what that leads to is a narrowing. The disc becomes smaller and loses its height somewhat. And so what we have then is a situation where it's less likely for disc herniation to take place because of the lower level of water content. So the other thing as well is that, of course, in younger people, what we tend to do is we tend to have quite flexible spines in the younger population, whereas in the older population, we tend to have degenerative changes that lead to stiffness. So we've already got a stiffened area, whereas we have flexible spines in the lower age category. And this means that, of course, there is potential for more load and forces to go through the disc because it's more flexible in the first place. And the final thing that makes a difference is to do with behavior, because in the younger population, we tend to make stupid mistakes, like lifting heavy things, thinking we're He-Man and we can lift up heavy things and that's okay. But it puts incredible forces through our discs. Whereas in this category, we have learnt our lesson. We are wise. So we don't try to lift up heavy stuff. And that behavioral change also makes it less likely that people in the over 60s category are going to have a disc-related herniation. So as you can see, if people are over the age of 60, then it's far, far less likely for them to have problems with their discs and much, much more likely for it to be related to a narrowing effect. In other words, there is stiffness and restriction around the lumbar spine. And that means we need to do one thing. We need to mobilize it. Now, I've got 3 particular principles that need to be adhered to get your sciatica better if you're over 60. And that is rotation, rotation, rotation. Rotation of the lumbar spine helps to mobilize the spine. We're not talking about loaded rotation, which of course we're told not to do to preserve health in our backs, but this is for controlled rotation, which helps to mobilize those joints at the bottom of our back and therefore release some of the stiffness and therefore release the pressure on the nerve. So a key criteria for this is 1, that of course you've got sciatica and you're over 60, and 2 is that your symptoms in your leg are not too severe, they're not too high and sensitive, they're not elicited really, really easily. That's really important. This is for more calmed down levels of sciatica pain. But let's get on with those 3 exercises. So where we're going to start with the first exercise is lying down on our back and bending our knees up and then rolling them from side to side. This is a crook lying position, and basically you roll alternate sides nice and slowly and nice and steadily for 5 to 10 times each side. Now only go as far as is comfortable on each side. What we're then going to do is we're going to then cross one leg over the other. Now we're going to pull the leg over towards the upper leg and over to one side, but this time we're only going to repeat to the same side 5 times before then repeating to the other side 5 times. Just let me repeat that. Cross the leg one over the other and then pull the leg towards the upper leg. Finally, we straighten one leg and then we tilt an upper leg over, and then again we repeat to one side. We just repeat over to the same side 5 to 10 times with our arms nice and wide, and we are lifting the leg up and rotating it over. This creates a beautiful stretch through the lower back and mobilization in the lower lumbar spine. 5 to 10 times each side.